James, if you're juiceless, you're useless. Scott Frost had plenty of juice from the podium after the opening of fall camp. I can't wait to talk about what he had to say.
Man, there was some great energy at the beginning of fall camp today. Let's get after it, Mike.
Let's go.
You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On UCF, your daily UCF podcast. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us on, turn us up. We'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend, James Duncan, co-show host here at Locked On UCF to talk a little UCF football on the start of fall camp. We came at you guys yesterday and let you know Scott Frost was getting ready to take the podium, and he addressed something we've talked about a lot. What is this team's true ceiling, James? We just did boom, battle, or bust. Scott Frost has his thoughts about what the true ceiling of this team is. We'll talk about that on today's segment.
Scott Frost also had some opinions on what makes Alonza Barnett so special at UCF. We've talked about AB3 to no end here at Locked On. We love AB3 here, and we know what makes him special.
Yeah, look, so does Scott Frost. But the big question on everybody's mind is, when Bethune-Cookman comes to town, are these dudes going to be ready to play ball? That's where we're going to start the show. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your likes and subscribes help keep us the #1 source of UCF football content out there anywhere on the webs, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. We're everywhere. And we're right here with you for the next 30 minutes. How ready is this team for week one? Scott Frost took the podium for his weekly presser, and he was asked a question about week one readiness. Let's listen to what he had to say, and we'll come back.
And Coach, from what you've seen today, you say you want this team to carry a chip on their shoulder. On a scale of 1 to 100%, how ready do you think this team is week one?
Oh, man, it's day one. I told them yesterday I thought they'd done enough work in the summer that if we had to play a game tomorrow, I think we'd operate pretty well. I think one of the probably pieces of evidence of that is I think we only had 2 false start penalties all practice. And that's going with the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, everybody. That was an issue last year, just the operation and getting everybody lined up and the timing of it. And the quarterback drives that, so that certainly helps us to have a real field general in the huddle. But that kind of discipline, I don't think I saw an offsides today, which was really promising. So there's just more things that I'm seeing that lead me to believe that we're closer than we were a year ago. And we got to keep building on that. We're certainly not a finished product, but it was a good start.
No false starts, no offsides, no penalties means you are definitely closer to week one ready. There were a lot of disappointing penalties at points last year. What do you think about what he has to say here about where they're at? It feels like his tone is much different from last year at this point in fall camp, and it's about what I expected. They are further along in their process, James.
Yeah, I mean, I think, last episode I had said, man, I want to see Scott Frost excited. And
Yep.
I think being comfortable is almost Scott Frost's version of excitement, as much as you can have, at least preseason. Last season, he said, hey, man, we're trying to learn a language. We don't really know it right now. That's what you were hearing in fall. You were hearing that, they had made strides, but there were still a lot of issues. And of course, there's always going to be a coach speak of they're never going to say everything's perfect, and things aren't always going to be perfect, and things never will be perfect. But having no offsides, that shows you the discipline of the defense. Having only 2 false starts, man, I think we were averaging like 6 a game. It felt like we were averaging just tons and tons and tons of offensive penalties last year. I think it shows you, and that's across all units, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. That's across all units. I think that shows you his comfortability with his offense and defense right now with the entire team. I think that shows you that you are leaps and bounds ahead of where you were at this same point last year.
Yeah, I think that leaps and bounds is a good way to put it. The patchwork team they had to put together last year has nothing to do with the team that they put together this year. And I am telling you, this team is going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. As a matter of fact, I didn't plan to do this, but I want to play another clip here before we get to our first break about he was asked a question about last year versus this year. Listen to this and let's continue this conversation.
Coach, are you entering this year's fall camp with a different intensity, kind of with the mindset that you need to be better than last season?
I asked the guys in meeting yesterday to raise their hand if they started at UCF and are still here, and it was about 25 to 33% of the room. So talking about last year doesn't mean much when you have that many new guys. What I will say is our standard and our expectations for the players are higher, and it's going to keep getting higher because these guys are capable of meeting those standards. And I think overall as a team, we have a lot higher ceiling, and we're going to push the guys to that.
Talk about last year doesn't mean that much when you have this many new guys. Stop talking about last year's 5-7 when I want to be excited about this year's UCF.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to talk about a team with 80% different players on the team. So some really good questions there today. I know that last one was from
Media did a great job.
The first question was also phenomenal. I think some really insightful things here from Scott saying, hey man, we see what people are saying. We see that. We need to go out there and say, hey, why is this being talked about? Or just flat out prove them wrong, because this is not the same team that you had last year. And I would debatably say you had a significantly better team in 2024 that you earned 4 wins with, and you had last year, you had a significantly worse team than 2024, and you still pulled out 5 wins. I think that says something about coaching. I think that says something about culture. I can't wait to see what he does with all of the people that he has on the roster this year.
Yeah, look, you got to pick the right guys. It starts with Alonza Barnett. He feels like Alonza is the right guy. We'll talk about that in our next segment. But his comments here tell me that because Scott Frost is not a coach speaky, bull crappy kind of guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's not going to get out here and bull crap us about like how he feels about the team. If he feels like they're behind the 8 ball, he's going to tell us that. If he feels like, look, man, we got a ton of work to do, I think he's going to tell us that. This year, he's telling us, look, man, we're better than we were last year. This is a different team fundamentally than it was last year, which means that he feels like they're better in a lot of spots, James. One of those spots is quarterback. Let's get to our first break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Alonzo. I want to talk a lot about Alonza Barnett and what he's bringing to the table for UCF in 2026. Quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. FanDuel is at it again, James, and it's baseball. Are you a baseball fan? You like baseball,
yeah.
Baseball, right?
Yeah.
America's pastime, by the way, still, right? Love me some college football. Baseball, the original America's favorite pastime. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Can you imagine saying, you know what, I think this guy's going to hit a home run today. I'm going to put a little something on that. And then, bam, I just won a lot of something. Because you guessed right. That's what FanDuel is giving you an option to do with daily dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. That means make a free pick, get a super profit boost, and then make your normal wager, and then you can win above and beyond on your normal bet. This is a crazy chance to win big. Guys, again, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another way to stay engaged with every day's games. Whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league, every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get a chance to make your prediction before the first pitch. So, are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the MLB. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We need you. We're climbing the college football podcast charts, and we need to keep climbing. Your likes and subscribes help us do just that. Alonza Barnett. We're going to talk so much Alonza Barnett this fall. I hope that we can talk him right to New York for the Heisman. Every time I put this on a thumbnail, people are like, this is not going to happen. Well, it's all a dream until it's not. So I think he has Heisman-type talent. Can UCF have a Heisman-type season for Alonza Barnett with him at QB? Let's listen to this clip, and this is what Scott Frost talking about Alonza just being the right guy for UCF in year 2.
Anything during my press conferences.
And also, I wanted to ask too, just how important is it to get the quarterback position right after some of the struggles you had last year?
Yeah, I've said this a bunch. I think the first thing is, we didn't bring him in here to compete with anybody. We brought him in here to help him be even better, and he was elite last year. But try to make him even better and hand him the reins and let him go. And man, what I've seen over the course of the spring and summer, my expectations and excitement about him have just grown. So today's day one. I'm sure if you ask him, there's a little rust he's got to shake off, but man, it's there, and the team looks to him, and that's a good place to be in when you have the guy at quarterback. And we're going to go as he goes. But I just love his demeanor, his personality on top of the talent that he has. He's a competitor. It's hard for me to be around guys that aren't nut-cutting competitors, and he's definitely got that. He's played a lot of football. He sees it. He operates it. He gets the ball out of his hand quick. A lot of things that we ask our quarterback to do, he's really good at. So looking forward to developing with him.
I would challenge you to find the clip of Scott Frost talking about any quarterback on the roster last year, like he just talked about Alonza Barnett. There. Find me the clip, and I will give you $100 right now of Scott Frost talking about Taven Jackson, Cam Fanter, or anybody who was on the roster last year like that. I'm keeping my money in my wallet because it doesn't exist. James, he is excited about Alonza Barnett. So when people ask me why I'm excited about this season, now I'm pointing to this. Now, we didn't need that press conference to know that that's how he felt. We've known that for months here. But Scott Frost is telling you that there has been nothing that's happened since Alonza Barnett has been on this team to diminish his faith in why he brought him here. He specifically said, we didn't bring him here to compete for the job. He's already elite. We brought him here to make him even better and unleash him. Let's go.
That's what you want to hear. That's what you need to hear from your head coach when you're talking about your quarterback. I can't remember the last time I heard a UCF head coach being like, this is our guy. This is who we want. He's already elite. Like, using the word elite to describe a guy, I think it's really important, because you're not just saying like he's good or he's doing what he needs to do. It's like, and even admitting like, yeah, man, I think he was a little bit rusty today. I was there at fall camp practice, this morning during our regulated media time. He had a couple bad balls. He had a couple balls that were behind. He had a couple of balls that were overthrown or underthrown. But that's going to happen when you're shaking the rust off. You know, he didn't run in the spring in practice with those guys. He might have gotten reps in times that, you know, media wasn't permitted, or we were told that he was pulled. So, and that he was never there. So it's not like he doesn't know these guys' tendencies, but physically adjusting to them and physically learning these guys' tendencies is different than the mental reps that he was taking previously. I think Alonza Barnett is special because of the experience that he's bringing. He already is a guy that has seen almost the very, very top of college football. And now he's coming to your program. He already has the talent. He has the leadership. Now you are putting him in a system where he is set up to succeed. I should hope that the coach would be talking like this.
Yeah.
I am glad he is.
You know, there's been a lot of pessimism around this season. I've heard some crazy takes. James, I've heard people say crazy things like UCF has to earn my excitement. What? Earn your excitement? Give me a break, man. This is there's plenty of reasons to be excited. If you're going to be caught up in what last year was for Scott Frost in his first year, I don't know what to tell you, man. You had to have just started watching college football. In today's college football, when a coach takes over with early signing day in December now, you are on such a short timetable to put together a team. You have the guys who are leaving out the door, as it happens with every coach. There's a group of the most talented players that are going to be like, look, I don't know this dude, so I'm going to go play someplace else. A lot of the times, they end up at those schools that came in second or third in their recruitment, but they were heavily recruited by those coaches. So they know their staff and what they were selling and their plan for them. You can't sell that in like 2 weeks, but give him a year. And he goes out and he convinces a guy who took his team to the college football playoff last year to come here. Alonza Barnett bought what he was selling. And I guys, go look at clips of Alonza talking. He's an impressive kid, highly intelligent, a great football IQ, amazing football IQ, charismatic. He looks like a monster, man. He looked in great shape when we saw him after that last practice. I was impressed just by his presence and demeanor. Throwing his football accolades and the fact that this will be the best team that he's ever played with. He did what he did. No disrespect to his teammates at JMU, but those guys were scrubs. They dropped 20 balls for him last year. 20. I get it. There are questions about the offensive line, but here's the thing. The offensive line looked worse with these quarterbacks that we had.
It was still bad.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad, but there was almost nothing that they could run from a passing standpoint that would work with last year's set of quarterbacks. A good quarterback covers off. He said in one of the clips that we ran, he talked about Alonzo gets the ball out of his hands quickly. That's that people are going to skip over that point. That's a very important point because
veteran.
When you have a O-line that struggles in pass pro at times, having a quick trigger QB who is accurate with the football helps you immensely. You know why? Because he can neutralize the rush because you don't have time to get to him. And here's where the football IQ comes in. I'm off my first read before the ball is snapped because I've looked at the defense and I already know where I'm going. That allows me to be quicker. I have some buddies who played with Peyton Manning, and they talked about it. They were like, look, you had to be on your game. One of those guys, his name was Devin Aromashadu. He was a wide receiver at Auburn in 2004 when they went undefeated. When he got to the Colts, he was like, look, man, when I had to play with Peyton Manning, first of all, you can't not watch film and play with Peyton Manning. Not gonna happen. Because that guy expects you to be at a spot. And if you're not there, you're not going to see the field.
Yeah.
Not on his offense. So and the point he was making was Peyton looks at the defense and he's already read the whole thing. He's played the whole play out in his head. So he knows exactly what the defense is going to do, and he knows where he's going with the football. It's your job to be where you're supposed to be based on what we practiced. And if you're there, you're going to have a chance to make a play. This could be Alonza Barnett in this offense. And so when the O-line struggles, they're covered by this QB that's not going to hold on to the ball and make them pass protect for that extra second. A second is a lifetime for an offensive lineman. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. 1 second is a lifetime for an offensive lineman. So holding on to the ball for an extra second is doomed for most quarterbacks and offensive lines. A quick, short passing game, for depending on the offense, is almost as effective as a strong running game. But you need a quarterback who's quick trigger and accurate for it to work. You didn't have that last year. If you think you have that this year, suddenly this offensive line is going to look so much better. Now, our guy Kyle Nash feels very strongly about this. He said that me and you have thrown the offensive line way too far under the bus based on the circumstances last year. I don't fully agree with Kyle. I think offensive line play was bad, but I do agree that it was made to look worse by quarterback play. What say you?
Kyle has a sweet spot for offensive line because Kyle was an offensive lineman. He was. Kyle played semi-pro offensive line. That guy, I'm telling you, he if the offensive line hiked the ball and then they all laid on the floor, he'd be like, well, maybe they were tired. You know,
you're exactly.
I love Kyle Nash, but it's funny. I was looking at some Taven reps the other day.
Okay.
And the amount of times, specifically reps in which he completed passes, not incompletions, but completions. The amount of time that he had to get out of the pocket to make passes because there was instantaneous pressure in the interior, and the amount of times that he had to climb the pocket because there was exterior pressure was insane. I mean, the some of the reps that I saw specifically from the left side of our offensive line last year were piss poor. They were awful. Truthfully, some of the worst reps that I have seen at offensive line. I believe that UCF went out and got guys that have the opportunity to make a difference. But for me, I can look at a QB in spring camp and fall camp and go, okay, that guy's got good throwing motion. He gets it out quick. His decision-making's good. His touch on the ball is good. His ball speed, his ball placement. I can look at all those things. I can look at a wide receiver. I can go, that guy's quick, or that guy cuts on the right spots, or his hand placement is good. When he catches the ball, he catches it with his hands and then he brings it into his body. He's really good with his feet. He knows if he's in bounds. His spatial awareness is good. You can have all those things to identify a wide receiver or a running back. But when it comes to offensive line, especially in practice, when you're just doing drills, it's really tough to see. But even when you're going in live reps against your own team, it's still hard because those D linemen sometimes aren't going as hard as they normally would against a real opponent, and you aren't going as hard because of that. There's a sort of understanding between the two that they're like, you're not going to want to go step on your own O lineman's leg on accident, or you don't want there to be too many twist ups, so you're letting go a little early, or maybe the D lineman isn't leaning as far in to make an arm tackle as he usually would because he doesn't want to hurt the running back. It's just more difficult in spring to analyze offensive line and defensive line play. It really is.
It is, but you know whether your guys are being physical as they need to be or not. You know if they're giving the types of effort that they need to get, and you also know if we have a saying that we've been using forever. You look at your homie, you're like, "Yo, bro, get your weight up." You know if they didn't get their weight up. So they focused on all those things this offseason with the offensive line. They understand we have to be way more physical than we were. We have to be way smarter than we were on offensive line. And you need a version of this offense that accentuates their strengths and covers their weaknesses. They were just so limited in year one in terms of what they could do. The play calls were there, man. I was actually impressed with the play calling. They dialed it up at times last year, and the opportunities were there, and just nobody could make a play when they needed it in close games. This year, hopefully, you have enough playmakers at the skill positions, and you have your main playmaker at quarterback, that everything doesn't look worse. Here's where I will agree with you. I think there's just a causality to everything, right? It's a quarterback is going to feel rushed and be antsy if he doesn't trust his O-line. It's going to get happy feet, right? But also an offensive line can be made to look worse by a QB who holds on to the ball.
Sure.
And both those things can be true at the same time. Unfortunately for UCF, they both were true at the same time. And it just looked bad all around. You're not going to get perfect offensive line play most years. I'm telling you, even the schools at the top of the college football chain right now go through cycles on O-line where O-line play isn't great. But you can't go through a cycle like that and miss at quarterback at the same time. You just can't. Because it's all going to come crashing down. And hopefully what we're seeing is the start of UCF nailing the quarterback position year in and year out while they recruit and develop offensive linemen for their system. Because it takes a couple years for most of these kids. You probably heard me say this on this show. Offensive line is the most physically developmental position in football. Meaning you can come in as a freshman fast as hell, hit the field, and still be fast as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Speed is speed. Quickness is quickness. If you have those things, and agility, if you have those things as a true freshman, you're going to have them in college from day one. Yeah. But strength and size take time. And some of these guys, while talented, come to college needing to put on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. If you've never tried to put on 15 pounds of muscle, let me tell you something. You can't do it in a month.
Yeah.
Not without drugs. Right? So you got to get quarterback right. You got to get quarterback right because fixing the offensive line is a multi-year project. That's going to take recruiting, and it's going to take, the weight room, and it's going to take more of the weight room. And hopefully by next year, that process is starting to take place, and you have a better than average O-line on average every year. But you need those guys to stick around. And you know what, James? They stick around winning programs. Which takes us to our last segment. What is this team's true ceiling? We did battle boom or bust You guys seem to love that segment. So we're going to revisit our battle, boom or bust, and then we're going to listen to Scott Frost talk about what he feels like the ceiling for this team is this year. We're going to get to that next right here on Locked On UCF. Battle, boom, or bust, James. Let's take a look at yours again. We were very similar in a lot of ways. We have one distinctive kind of disagreement here, but in the bust column, we both had Houston and BYU. There were some dissenters in our comment section on this that feel like these games are not necessarily bust, but there's a ton of people who feel like these are battle games for UCF. I hope they're right and we're wrong. Then you had Pitt, Kansas, Arizona State, Oklahoma State, and TCU in the battle column. Only difference here was I put Baylor in the battle column and moved Oklahoma State over to the boom column where you had them in the battle column. We both agree on Bethune-Cookman and Georgia State and Iowa State and Colorado. So, again, only difference here, you've got Baylor in the boom. I've got Oklahoma State in the boom. Let's listen to what Scott Frost had to say about what is this team's ceiling. I love this question, but I think I really love his answer.
What is that ceiling? How far can this team go?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm not worried about that. I want a team with a chip on their shoulder that understands that UCF's not going to get a lot of attention or respect until we earn it, and we're going to have an opportunity in the first game to go start that process. And I don't want our guys thinking big picture. I want our guys thinking about today's practice and the first game, and the chips will fall where they may.
Love that. Love that answer. UCF's not going to get a lot of attention and respect until they earn it. Now, I want to be clear here. From the national media and from the other media members, sure. From fans, no. Get on this boat now. Or turn in your fan card.
Yeah.
Get on this boat. And the reason why I say get on this boat now is because we need the bounce house fully packed out, man. And when you have people who are, they got to earn it, they may not show up to games. The bounce house only bounces when there's people in it, James.
I'm with you, Mike. I mean, I think when he's saying, we got to earn it, I think he's more talking about the respective people that are making decisions like what bowl you're going to play in.
There you go.
And are you going to be in the college football playoff? And do you deserve to go to the Big 12 championship? And who gets what award? I think we're talking about big time decisions here that you are earning the respect to be a part of that decision making versus, oh man, we got to earn your seat in the bounce house. We got to earn, dude. If you are a UCF fan, and I would get it if people thought like this team was going to go 0-12. I'd still be sitting in that in the bounce house if I thought this team was going to go 0-12, just because that is my. I have an affinity to UCF. And I think that if you are a true fan, I think that is the way that you would feel. I understand though, like if you're saying, oh man, well, if this team's going to go 0-12, well then I don't want, dude, it's not. I can guarantee you this team's not going to go 0-12.
Well, we showed the schedule last year, James. We broke it down.
That's the locked on UCF guarantee. This team is getting a win.
Yeah, we got a rack on the over at 5.5.
Yeah.
So the bounce house just needs to be packed. Man, it needs to be packed every game, and teams need to fear UCF when they come because the fans are going to be raucous and loud. Look, man, there's a certain amount. We are a fan channel, so I think it's fair to talk about, a certain level of fan delusion. Here's what I need, right? James, I need delusional to the point of, you know what? We're down 21 and there's 4 minutes left, but if we score a touchdown and then we get the onside kick and then we intercept the ball, right? We can come back in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me that level of delusion crazy, man.
100%. And if you watch the Baylor game 2 years ago, then you would know that you can do that. you can lose like that. So
have you ever been at a game where the fans all left and then your team pulled off the crazy comeback? I've been to 5.
Mike, let me quick story because I know we're running long, but I was working for the Kingdom when we played TCU Gus's last year.
Okay.
That was one of, unfortunately, the games that I wasn't able to travel with the Kingdom unit because I was home hosting a watch party for the Kingdom. And we had a massive watch party. I mean, tons of Kingdom members came because they didn't want to travel out to Fort Worth. We had a ton of people. We go down 4 scores. People leave in droves. And I called our executive director and said, hey, man, people are packing up. People are leaving. Like, everyone's bummed that we're getting our butts kicked. Can we just shut this down? He goes, yeah, I'm here right now. It's not great. So I hang up. I pack everything up. I get home and I'm still listening to the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, no way. I'm watching. I get home. I immediately put it on the TV. And my roommate's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm watching Friends. And I'm like, I don't care. UCF's coming back. I call my mom. I watched Colton Boomer take the kick, put it through the uprights. I was screaming. The next door neighbors came over and was like, somebody's being murdered. And I said, no, the UCF Knights just won the most unreal game.
Unreal game.
And I'm telling you, it was the greatest watch. It's the greatest feeling. And I think to have that feeling again and just, I had lost hope. Now, I love the saying from Ted Lasso, it's the hope that kills you. But the reason that you have that hope is the only reason to watch the game. It's the only reason to watch the game, to watch the team, for us to be talking about all of these things preseason. We had a comment the other day that said, you guys don't know anything. The season hasn't started yet. Well, if you guys don't want us to talk about it, well, then you're at the wrong place because we want to talk about it. All of these things are predictions of what we are seeing. They are based in fact. They are based on the observations that we are making. I loved this question from Trace Trelko, and I know that Scott didn't seem like he liked it because he was like, we're not focused on that. But in all reality, when you ask a head coach about what the ceiling is, there's no right answer.
Well, I want to be clear. Trace is a seasoned and veteran media, a credentialed media member.
Yeah.
He knew what Scott Frost was going to say when he answered.
100%. Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was going to say, and that's why you ask it.
Of course.
To some people may feel like he dodged his question. He didn't. Trace knew what he was doing, but so did Scott Frost.
Uh-huh.
He said, look, man, we're focused one game at a time. But he did say something else in there. He said, I want a team that's going to play with a chip on their shoulder, right? You only have a chip because you've heard what people are saying your ceiling, they think your ceiling is. Unfortunately, some of these people claim to be UCF fans. I get it if you're jaded from UCF's past, but he said in the clip, all the clips we played today, he said something very important in talking about this team. And he said, this is a brand new team. Last year doesn't matter. There's too many different guys for us to be basing where we're going to be this year on what happened last year.
Yeah.
And we spent a whole offseason highlighting those differences. Here are the players. Here are the recruits. Here are the guys that we feel like have a chance to break out based on what happened this spring in practice. Here are the actual guys talking to you about it. We gave you Josh Derry and others. If you can watch all that and say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to get excited until they win the first 6.
Get out.
Oh, that's certainly a choice. That's certainly a decision to make. But that's not where we're at here on this channel, and it's not where we want to be. Those same folks will have no problem jumping on the bandwagon once it happens. But I'll close on this. There will be some who hit the comment section or maybe just tweet it, hate at me and say, okay, but when it doesn't happen, but okay, so if it doesn't happen, all right, that's life, man. That's not going to stop me from getting excited, James. That's just life. You make predictions. Sometimes they're wrong, but as long as as long as it's an educated prediction, we're telling you why. We're telling you why we believe that. And now you're hearing Scott Frost say some of the things that we've been saying all season about this team. Alonza Barnett has Heisman type talent. I think I'm batting 1,000 on this particular thing here on this channel since we started this, James. I don't know how good a pro QB he is going to be, but he's already a dynamic college QB. He has the talent to be one of the best to ever do it in a UCF uniform. And it's only going to take one season, man. Take them to the playoffs. You will have done something no other UCF QB has ever done. So, I want people to hear it now because it's just not as powerful when you say it after he's already done it.
Yeah.
And no, we're not saying that about every player. But I felt that way about Malachi when he hit the draft. Had a bunch of people tell me he's not going in the first round. Are you kidding, Mike? It was a 4-win football team. First round. RJ Harvey, I thought was a first round talent that would go in the second round. Second round. Give me UCF on the over hard and inject everything Scott Frost said today into my veins. He sounds different than last year, and you just have to pay attention. We gave you those press conferences last year as well, too. If you listen to his tone this year and his tone last year, it's markedly different. It is. There's no clip of him talking about any UCF QB the way he talked about Alonza Barnett today. None. I can't wait for this season, man. I know you guys can't wait either. We're going to go on and get out of here. James Duncan, UCF sports commentator and co-show host here at Locked On UCF. I want to thank you for joining me on today's show. Hit the comment section after the video, guys. This was another long one, but we want to know what if you missed the boom battle or bust segment. Give us your boom battle or bust, and that will tell us what you think the ceiling is for the UCF Knights. Also, what do you think makes Alonza Barnett potentially special here at UCF? And talk to us about week 1. Do you feel like UCF will be ready? Do you feel nervous about week 1? We want to hear all that and more from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys later today right here on Locked On UCF.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.